Welcome into this segment of Behind the Pen presented by mostvaluablepodcast.com. If you want to listen to the full podcast, go to blogtalkradio.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Also, we're on iTunes, so check us out there as well. Thank you all for listening as always, and enjoy the show. All right, I want to talk now. I hope you guys enjoyed that Bulls conversation. If you're sticking around on blogtalkradio.com/mostvaluablepodcast, thank you very much. What we're going to do now is move on to the Chicago Cubs, because I love talking Chicago Cubs baseball with you, and I hope you can stick around for the entirety of this podcast. If not, if you're on YouTube, what's up, guys? I appreciate you checking in. This Chicago Cubs team is World Series champions, by the way, and I believe they're still the favorite, in my opinion, strictly in my opinion. They're still the favorite in the National League to make it to the World Series again, to win another pennant. But this is going to be a different team than 2016. And the 2017 Cubs, for a lot of reasons, are going to be interesting, I would say. But they're still really good. They're still the best team in the National League, in my opinion. However, you lose Jason Hamill, and I know he didn't have any impact at all on the playoffs. But you look at the longevity of a 162-game regular season, Hamill was a rock in that rotation. But you lose him, and good for the Cubs. Good on the Cubs for allowing him to work the market in free agency and allow him to choose where he wants to go instead of the Cubs, moving him and trading him against his will. So that was a nice little gesture by the Cubs. Going into this season, and we look at the moves that they've made already, it's been strictly pitching, guys, and that's probably the most important thing. You look at this Cubs team specifically in their bullpen. I think right now the Cubs, one of their weaknesses is maybe the back end of the rotation, and that bullpen, they got to do something. This bullpen, I'll tell you right now, is not going to be the same bullpen at the end of the season. It rarely ever is in any team's bullpen, really. But this one specifically, I look at the Chicago Cubs, and they made a move. They got Koji Uehara. It's a savvy move, not bad. Brian Dunsing, another savvy move, lefty. You can rely on him. Caleb Smith, this guy is a Rule 5 pick. So that means, well, he's from AA. That was his highest level of competition prior to 2017. So if the Cubs want to keep him, they have to keep him on their roster, the big league roster, 25-man roster all season long. So obviously he's going to be probably a mop-up guy. I remember Hector Rondon as a Rule 5 guy, and back in, I believe it was 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, I was like, get this guy off the team. He's terrible. But look where he is now. Probably one of the better relievers in baseball, and that didn't really show it last year. Dealt with some injuries, but still, over the longevity of a 162-game season, you got to get there, got to get to the end. And still, this back end with Rondon and Strop, and even the emergence of Carl Edwards Jr., that's pretty solid. Then you go out and get a Wade Davis. They traded Jorge Soler for Wade Davis straight up. I really love the move. Davis was dealing with some arm problems last year. I guess his physicals and his health checked out for the Cubs to make this move, and they did, and he's still one of the best relievers in the game. Obviously, injuries are a concern, but he seems to be fully healthy, and you got to believe that. And until otherwise, this guy's going to be dominant, because he's been dominant throughout his career since he turned into a reliever. 2015, got the last out in the World Series. He's been there before. That's what the Cubs need. You saw it last year in the playoffs, the importance of a lockdown bullpen. Now, they don't have the luxury to just send out Chapman and get 8 outs in a game or whatever and throw him every single day. That's not going to happen anymore. So I'm really interested to see how they kind of structure their roster as the season progresses. I'm sure they're going to be active at the deadline, but we're not even there yet. We're not even at the end of the regular season. Right now, I wanted to talk about the Cubs because, yes, the rotation, specifically their fifth starter, is going to be in question. Right now, it's Mike Montgomery. Mike Montgomery out of the bullpen hurts the Cubs more than if he was in the bullpen, obviously, in my opinion. Mike Montgomery as a fifth starter will get you by. I have really no qualms about it other than the fact that he's so valuable in the bullpen. Without him in the bullpen, you got to rely on guys like Justin Grimm and Carl Edwards Jr. So if they go out and get a guy, they're linked to Tyson Ross right now. And Tyson Ross missed the entirety of the 2016 season. He had shoulder surgery. And that's concerning, for sure. The Padres non-tendered him, so he's a free agent. And the Cubs are, well, I'm guessing he's going to want like $12 million if they go for a year, multi-year deal. If they're going to sign Tyson Ross, they may have to go out on a limb and sign him to a multi-year deal. He's only 29. I believe he's going to be 30 sometime, obviously. And he's going to be 30 by the time he's entering his 30-year-old season. He was born in April, so he'll be 30 in 2017. Do you want to give him a 4-year deal? It may have to be what it takes to get it done, because 20 teams are in on Tyson Ross. And this guy's electric. When he's healthy and he's on, he's a legit starter. And if you talk about your rotation then suddenly with one more year of Arrieta, because I believe Arrieta is going to be gone after this season. You have Lester, Hendricks, Lackey, and Tyson Ross. How can you lose? Really? That's consistent. And the Cubs they were gifted last year, right, with their health, especially in their rotation. They just put, like, throughout the entire season. I believe it was the only team the Cubs were to start a consistent 5-man all the way until August or so. And then they were like, okay, we have a 15-game lead. Let's add in a 6th starter. You know what I mean? So you got to take what you can get. And they're lucky, obviously. But I don't know how lucky they're going to be again next season. But if you talk about on paper, you add a Tyson Ross, man, they're suddenly that much better. Then you can put Mike Montgomery back in the bullpen and assume the role of someone that they did lose was like Travis Wood. Travis Wood was a huge part of the Chicago Cubs team and why they got to the World Series. So that's something to keep an eye on. I hope the Cubs are in. They are reportedly in on Tyson Ross, and I do hope that they sign him, because I'm looking at the free agents right now in the starting pitching market, and it's not enticing whatsoever. I mean, Doug Fister, he's 32. Eovaldi, bad. He's hurt all the time. Chris Medlin, no. Guthrie, no. He's 37. I mean, Lincecum, absolutely not. Ruby De La Rosa, bad. Kyle Loesch, bad. 38. Vogelsong, I don't know. Bad. Fredo Simon, absolutely not. Dylan G, I don't know. I'm just looking. Matt Latos, Eric Johnson, I don't think so. So we'll see. We'll see what the Cubs end up doing. Time will tell. They're in no rush, really. There's so much time before spring training begins. And it's unfortunate because I'm looking forward to it so much. 2017 season, the Chicago Cubs is going to be so fun, because you look at the way their lineups come. And I spent a lot of time on their bullpen and their starting rotation. We're going to move on to their lineup right now. And that's what has been consistently dominant all throughout the season. One of the best hitting teams. Their entire infield was an all-star. Whether you agree or not, that's the fact. Their entire infield produced an all-star. So what are you going to do with a healthy Schwarber? And you lose Dexter Fowler to St. Louis, which hurts. It does. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Cardinals just gained, one of the prolific on-base guys, a guy who has such command of the strike zone at the plate that he's almost impossible to get out sometimes. He's one of the top on-base percentage guys in baseball. It sucks. However, the Cubs are covered. They have a young Albert Almora Jr. who's just chomping at the bit to get regular playing time at the big leagues. And then they go out and sign John Jay, who said he will mentor Albert Almora Jr. He's got MLB experience, and John Jay's not a bad signing at all. He's a safe guy to throw out there in center field. But I wouldn't be surprised, guys. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Bryant or Javi Baez get time in center field this season at all. Bryant can do it all. And so can Javi. And I mention that because Javi needs to get at least 400 plate appearances this year. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to fill playing time with this Cubs team? Because you look at it, Bryant, Russell, Zobrist, Rizzo in the infield, Schwarber, Almora / John Jay, and Jason Hayward in the outfield. And then you throw in Zobrist in the outfield as well. You throw Chris Bryant in the outfield as well. Javi Baez in the outfield as well. But Baez will most likely stay in the infield because that's where he's most valuable. And Jason Hayward, coming off, literally anything better than what you got from Jason Hayward at the plate last year is a win. I mean, he came in, had that $184 million speech during the rain delay in Game 7, won the World Series. Okay. I mean, you can't argue the fact that the point of getting these guys, right, like Lester, Hayward, Lackey, was to win a World Series, Zobrist, and they did it. So I guess I can't really complain about Jason Hayward's contract, except, boy, I'm going to be pissed if he just keeps beating the ball into the ground to the second baseman over and over again next season, because I don't want to see that. I see that he's trying to change his swing a little bit, dropped his hands. He's more upright on his finish. We'll see. A lot of time before spring training begins. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But I look at this Cubs team. There's so much depth and versatility yet again. They just got to stay healthy, and they're going to be in. They're going to be in, straight up. Wilson Contreras. I didn't even mention Wilson Contreras. He's going to be your everyday catcher with Montero as your backup. How about that? Man, Cubs are stacked again. Cubs are likely the favorite in the NL. Over on the AL side, I mean, people are rooting for the Cubs-Boston Red Sox matchup, you know what I mean? Because of the history and obviously the lure of the two franchises. I don't know about the Red Sox yet. I still have to crown the Indians the team to beat in the AL. They're getting Carrasco and Salazar back. They're all in, apparently, on Edwin Encarnacion. Imagine if they sign Encarnacion. You get back Michael Brantley as well? That team is stacked. Tyler Naquin, Abraham Almonte, Jose Ramirez at third, Francisco Lindor, arguably the best shortstop in baseball, in my opinion. Kipnis. Man, I don't know. I don't know how you can say that the Red Sox are better than the Indians at this point. I know Chris Sale and Rick Porcello, Cy Young guy, David Price. I get it. But I'm still looking at the Indians as a team to beat. So if I had to say right now, I would say Cubs-Indians World Series Round 2 in 2017. Thank you guys for sticking around for this segment of Behind the Pen. If you want more Most Valuable Podcast content, click on the video up above, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep listening to our voices every day. But again, guys, thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you.